I think on MRO, the reality is that some of the government-to-government deals are now quite old. And with that comes inefficiencies that sort of just creep up over time. And certainly some of the military entities recently have been really closely examining just how much value for money they're getting from the current arrangements, and they have been found wanting in some cases. And I think that is providing evidence, given that they want to localise as well, is that actually if the big government-to-government deals aren't as efficient and effective values for money as possible, and we are actually now creating an ecosystem that can cope with us taking on that MRO ourselves, then we should really strongly consider that, and that's definitely a set of conversations that's going on at the moment. So yeah, I think it will change. I think, well, it is already, as Stuart says. I think the landscape will look very different in 3 or 4 years' time.
I think there's also,
than it has done for the last sort of 10 years. I think it will look very different.
I think there's also a perception that government to government is somehow going to be exempt from Vision 2030.
It's not.
It's not, and we're already seeing FMS cases that are going forward with much greater local content requirements, and this is where the existing arrangements, which have been around for decades, need to change, because the arrangements, so for example, a lot of the UK government-to-government programs haven't really changed since 1966, when they were first put in place. And those were put in place around British jobs exporting equipment to Saudi Arabia that had no capability. Now, we need to be talking about establishing capability in Saudi and creating and sustaining jobs in Saudi. So you might see that as a bit of a sort of a bit of a conflict, conflicting objectives, but actually they can be very complementary. And it's encouraging to hear the UK MOD and the Saudis talking about mutual prosperity and generating benefits for both countries in terms of equipment supply.